Someone who was in a leadership mentoring group that I'm involved with recently asked me for some advice on preparing for a new season in their life. They're about to graduate university. And then 2 days later, it hit me. That list that I gave that individual actually could be very useful to a new or aspiring politician. All I needed to do was reframe some of the things. Well, let's talk about how that would apply to you today. I'm Dr. Lisa Ann Chung, a political leadership strategist, author of the book Political Change, and president for Kenley College, where we provide leadership training and strategy for new and aspiring politicians. So that I get some time to flesh out each of the 6 points I gave to this individual, I'm going to separate this video into 2 parts. Let's start with the first 3 things that were on my list. Number 1, keep your word. Whether you are on a campaign trail or you are serving behind the scenes in some other capacity in politics, people see you as in a position of trust. And because they see you in a position of trust, they want to know that when you give your word or you make a promise, you're going to actually live up to that promise. You're going to do what you said. This is a matter of honesty and integrity. There may be a point where you realize that you did give your word. You can't keep it because you realize that there are some other implications involved that not necessarily the best for the people. So you got to go back to them. You've got to explain, this is what we said we were going to do, but here's why we cannot do it. You give an explanation as to why you can't keep your word. Now, not everybody's going to be happy that you didn't do what you said you would do, but the honesty. Not that you just make promises to win votes or to win some kind of praise or approval. You give your word and you want to keep your word as much as it is in your ability and capacity and even control to do so. Some people will actually respect your honesty. You respected us enough to tell us what would impact us in a way that we may not have thought about ourselves. 2, finish what you start. Now, your start might be linked to what I just said as number 1, what you promised to do. People like to see leaders who are consistent. They want to know if you said you're going to do something and you actually start that project, you start doing what you promised, you see that to the end. Not just getting us all excited about a new project or a new policy or a plan. And then years later, we realize that you had long abandoned that policy, that plan, that project, but never said anything to us. Stay consistent, because in that is an integrity factor. Sometimes politicians don't finish what they start, and they start things, waste a lot of taxpayer funds or other funds, and then no explanation, no reason to understand why did they give up on the project? Why didn't they push through with the policy they promised? What happened to the plan they said they would follow through on? Finish what you start. Some people are natural starters, and others are naturally good at coming into a project and finishing it off. That's psychology, but you even see that in building. When you have some people who are very good at the foundation level and they can start the project, maybe even architects, they start the project. But then there are others who are coming in and they're doing the finishing touches. They do the painting, they do the last bit of wiring. They are good finishers, but they're not necessarily good starters. You may or may not be aware that before I pivoted into political leadership strategy, I was actually a practicing psychologist, and one of my areas of specialty was with psychometric assessments. So we looked at things like your ability, your personality, all of that kind of stuff. And one of the things that I would do is realize that some people were better at starting and others were better at finishing. And yes, we use the assessments to work that out for individuals, work it out for companies, work it out even for university staff. And so when they would take it, let's say they had a team building project to work through, we would be able to assess who were the better starters, who were the better finishers, and then the teams could assign people based on strength. Now, we still use assessments within Kenley College to help identify and to develop leaders within the government and political arena. But here's why it's important to know why starters and finishers are important to any project. Because no matter how much you have a finisher, they can't finish what someone hasn't started. And if you have people who are better starters and not very good finishers, they're going to frustrate everybody else because you have all of these projects, all of these policies, all of these plans left suspended and nowhere to go. Being a starter is brilliant. We need more starters. We need more pioneers within the government and political arena. They are absolutely necessary, but we also need more. So in light of my point that you need to finish what you start, and you recognize that you're a better starter than you are at seeing things to completion, you need to get one of two people on your team. Who do you need to team up with to keep you accountable and to keep you on track to the end? And who are the strong finishers that you can partner with so that what you initiated can be completed for the benefit of the people? And the third factor that we're going to talk about today is stay focused. You know, this government and political arena is full of distractions and is full of demands on your time and resources. But never lose sight of why you came into this arena. Stay focused. Know why you're here. And having a clear vision is actually going to be good for helping you to do just that. Now, I hope you're going to join me for the second part to this video when we look at the other 3 factors that I shared with that young leader. Well, that's it for today, folks, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.